Hi, I'm Myra Ferguson for CreativePro, and in this video, I'd like to show you how to create a looping animated logo in Premiere. If you're a graphic designer who's getting started with Premiere, one of the first types of projects you might make could be an animated logo. Although Premiere is a video application, it does include features for animating assets. I'll show you how I got this result. In Photoshop, I've got the logo and the background that I want to use, each on a separate layer and saved as a PSD file. Let's jump over to Premiere. I'll start with a new project by going to File, New, Project, giving the project a name, leaving Template set to None, and skipping Import Mode. These settings bring me directly into Edit mode. If you'd like to follow along with the same panel arrangement, I'm using the Editing workspace. I'll import my content by going to the Project panel and clicking on Import Media. Then I'll navigate to my PSD and click Import. Premiere recognizes that this file includes layers and gives me options for how to import them. I want to animate the logo and keep the background separate, so I don't want to merge the layers. I can either import the separate layers or import these separate layers as a sequence. A sequence is the arrangement of assets in the timeline. If I have Premiere create it for me, then it will use the dimensions of the PSD for the dimensions of the sequence. Let's select Sequence and click OK. You'll see there's a new folder in the Project panel. When I twirl it open, you can see that it contains the two layers and a sequence. When I double-click on the sequence icon, Premiere opens the sequence in the timeline. Because these clips were made from a still image, Premiere gives each of them a default duration of 5 seconds. If I want the duration to be longer, I can drag out the clip to extend it. To drag it out, I'll hover over the end of the clip until I see the cursor change. As I drag it, I see a tooltip that shows me its precise duration. And I'll extend the background so it's the same duration as the logo. To make the logo rotate, I'll need to apply an effect and animate it. Effects can be found in the Effects panel. In the Editing workspace, it can be found nested in with the Projects panel. If you ever can't find a panel, you can open it from the Window menu. The Effects panel contains several folders. I want to rotate the logo as if it were in 3D space, so I'll search for 3D effects. In the results, I see Video Effects, Perspective, Basic 3D. Let's use this effect. There are a few ways that I can apply this effect to the clip. I can drag it onto the desired clip, or while the clip is selected, I can double-click the effect or drag it to the Effects Control panel. When it's applied, it'll appear in the Effects Control panel. If I want the logo to rotate around the vertical axis, I'll use the Swivel property. I can test out the effect by dragging on the value or spinning the knob. If I scrub the timeline by dragging the playhead to check it out, I can see that it's not animated. So how do I animate it? Let's set the amount back to 0 and put the playhead back at 0. First, I need to enable animation by clicking on the stopwatch to create a keyframe. The keyframe contains the information about this property at this point on the timeline. If I move the playhead and adjust the amount, Premiere will automatically add a keyframe with the new value. What if I want to make a looping animation? Let's undo that last keyframe and zoom in. When I scrub the mini timeline and effect controls, the playhead snaps to the last keyframe of the clip. I could add a keyframe here with one full revolution of the knob or 1x. In other words, you would see that it's in the same swivel position, which is facing forward, for 2 frames, on the first frame and again at the last frame. So let's select and delete that keyframe. We'll go back to the end of the clip, but let's move the playhead ahead by 1 more frame. You can use the down arrow on your keyboard to advance 1 frame. And let's enter a 1x swivel again, but at this position. Now when I go to the last frame, I can see that it hasn't quite made it back to 360 degrees, which means I won't have that duplicate frame when it loops. I can do a quick export in the upper right as an animated GIF. And here's the result playing in Chrome. I'm Myra Ferguson, and I hope this tip helps you get started animating logos in Premiere.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. And for thousands more how-to articles and tutorials, visit our website, creativepro.com, and become a member today. Thanks for learning with us.